from the third floor. Season 1 of the US Faux Tour has begun. Be sure to check out the website for the latest details on how to qualify for the 2019 US Masters. We're editing the second episode of the Battlefield broadcast, and we can't wait to share yet another high-quality battle report with you. We should have that up probably in the next few weeks. Subscribe to stay up to date with everything USFT, both to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook. That way you can always be on top of everything that we're putting out here at the third floor. Now, I just got back from the grand tournament over at the Nova Open. It was the first grand tournament for Season 1 of USFT, and it was hosted and run really well by Casey Campbell. I can't wait to play in Nova next year. Speaking of the grand tournament at Nova, we're going to take a few minutes and have a conversation with the winner, Travis Weyforth. Travis, welcome to the third floor.
Hey, Craig. Thanks for having me.
So, before we jump in and start talking about the tournament, why don't you give a plug for your podcast?
Yeah, my podcast is called Max Value. A lot of you probably heard of it. It's mainly focused on competitive Battlefo, list discussions, state of the meta, tournament reports. I'll probably be doing one, maybe a little bit more in-depth battle report about Nova on it sometime soon, as well as some other things. I know I've been slacking lately, and I need to get on that. So
I was going to bring that up. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, it's my bad.
We can get it anywhere, right? iTunes, Podbean.
Yeah, it's on iTunes and Podbean.
Okay. So I was surprised when I found out you had declared Outcasts, because I've always seen you play Guild and maybe goof around a little bit with just Tara. That's not what you did here. So kind of talk to me about what your thought process was as far as picking your faction.
Yeah, so I mean, a little bit of it was definitely the coming of M3 that's obviously on the horizon now, being like, well, you know, things are going to change. This is one of my last shots to try out some fun stuff. And I've been saying for a while now that I think Outcast Misaki is incredibly, incredibly underrated. You see it a lot in Ten Thunders, but you just didn't see it in Outcast. And I have been saying that I think this is a complete mistake. That you don't see her a lot, so I wanted to do that. And as you mentioned, I love playing Tara. She's my favorite master to play by a mile. And spoiler, I didn't actually play her at all, but I was planning on playing her a lot, as much as I could. Unfortunately, all the rounds that I thought she could play, I went against people who I knew their most common master picks were just hard counters. I couldn't risk playing her into Kalodi or Zoraida or Weaver or something like that and just getting dumpster canned. So yeah, and you know, like I said, I wanted to try something new. Roger had Outcast I could borrow. I had the Terra stuff, so got the Misaki stuff. Threw in Vix in there to keep people honest. I told him to put Hamlin in the bag so I could put it on the display board, but I had no intention of actually playing Hamlin. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so round one, who did you face?
Round one, I played Chris Blue from, is he Raleigh or Charlotte, North Carolina? Charlotte, okay. So I played him. It was good to meet him. I've talked to him and conversed with him on Facebook posts and stuff in the past, but I don't think we've ever met. The round was close. Guard the stash, guarded treasure, public demonstration, take prisoner, undercover entourage, take one for the team. I played one of the two different Misaki lists that I played. Both of them were very, very similar, but the main gist of it was Misaki, Risk and Reward, Thunder, and Oathkeeper. In this case, for my other beater, I took Bishop with Oathkeeper. I had Sign of the Void, who is the best model in Malifaux and should be in every list almost. I took Yamaziko, who's incredibly, incredibly strong at 6 points, and honestly was pretty good at 7 too, and I think everyone just slept on her. I took one Abomination. I took the Hodgepodge Effigy. I took Shang, and what am I missing? One other thing in there.
It gives us a good idea. So kind of.
Yeah. Hold on. What am I missing there?
All right.
Oh, yeah. The thing that makes Outcast Misaki better than Ten Thunders Misaki, Marlena Webster.
Oh, that's okay. It. I was about to say.
She's hard to remember because she doesn't really do anything except stand there and put on Soul Tether. But yeah, she's obviously the core concept around Outcast Misaki.
What did Chris play?
he declared Outcast. I was expecting Sandeep, but you never know. Some people are sporting. Chris decided to be sporting and play Marcus. So he played a pretty cool Marcus list that was kind of used some of the new models that I hadn't really seen before. So he had the Fire Golem. He had the Fire Starter to get burning on the Fire Golem. He had a Malifaux Raptor. He had Miranda, which is pretty common with Marcus. He had the Jackalope. What else did he have? He had a Metabot. He had I want to say an Arcane Effigy in there somewhere. And
he had so he had Arcane Effigy.
Yeah, and some other stuff in there. His list was mostly around the Fire Golem. He definitely was. That was his new baby to try, and I had looked at it briefly before, and I just read it over, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like trying to kill this thing. He's going to be my take prisoner target, and we're going to kill everything else. So I did take prisoner on that, and I did undercover entourage on the Scion of the Void, because it's really huge. It's not as safe as it is with Terra. You don't have the activation control, but it's pretty safe to do it. So quick gist of how that game went. So it's close deployment, so stuff's happening immediately, which is super awesome. He used the Fire Starter to throw a bunch of burning on the Fire Golem, but he also threw some burning on the Malifaux Raptor, which at first, it took me a second to realize what was going on, but the point of that is you can fly the Raptor up, and then the Fire Golem can use a 0 to basically teleport to the Raptor. So I was like, okay, this thing's going to be on my face quick. And then to go a little bit further, he even used Marcus to alpha the Fire Golem.
Wow, okay.
So it was up there, and I pretty much just kind of let that happen. I wasn't too concerned. He went for some of the small stuff that wasn't a big deal, but in doing so, he put Marcus not super far up. He was still out of range of Misaki, but he wasn't. He might have been in range of like a walk charge of Misaki with Burning Oathkeeper, which is not going to do enough damage. But I was also in range of Bishop's walk charge, so I used Oathkeeper with Bishop, and I walk charge, and I pushed him back 6 inches with the whatever trigger, the mask one, the one that you get to pick. So the one that pushes him.
Yep.
And I pushed him back so that Misaki was in walk charge range.
Nice.
Did that. Put some blast down. Didn't bother with the Fire Golem. The Fire Golem swung back on Misaki. Didn't really do enough damage to get through the amount that was going to heal from risk and reward that turn. The next turn, Bishop goes first and throws down a flurry on Marcus. Doesn't quite kill him, but almost kills him. And then Misaki finishes him off and blasts a bunch of stuff. So
that was turn 2.
That was turn 2, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much how it went. I'm obviously killing some other shit with all the blasts in there. It wasn't just Marcus that went down. So and then he final score was 9-2, I think.
Okay. Wow.
He did take prisoner on my effigy, which I almost forgot to kill at the end of the game to deny. But Chris mentioned something, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess I should actually finish this off. So I just went. I killed all my models except for Misaki, and I was like, if you have it here, whatever. But he'd been attacking her, so I didn't think so. And then I obviously got the undercover entourage with the Scion. So
nice. All right, round 2.
Round 2, I played Adam Talbot. This was a good pool for Terra. And this is the first time that I really wanted to play Terra, but I know Adam likes to play Zervida, and I don't like that because Nothing Beast is one of the main damage dealers for Terra, and he just gets pretty much instant gibbed by a Voodoo Doll and Iggy. So was not really looking forward to that. And Adam's talked a lot of shit about how I've never beaten him, despite that we've only played once and we tied. So I couldn't risk that. So I decided just to throw him the full Cantress Vic Bomb, and do that. So I did basically the Void Spam Vic. So took Big Vic, had Oathkeeper, Survivalist, and the one, I forget what it's called, the one that gives him +2 melee, the cast attack for +2 melee. Baby Vic had Oathkeeper, and so I didn't take Soaring Dragon because, well, I'll get to it a little bit later, but I didn't take Soaring Dragon. I took Bigger They Are. I considered between Bigger They Are and the Mark of Sejul or whatever to ignore Hard to Kill and stuff, but I figured Neverborn don't have a ton of that. I'll just take Bigger They Are if, probably better most of the time. I took the Scion of the Void, I took Marlena Webster, I took Malifaux Child, and I took 5 Void Wretches, or however many fit. I think it was 5. So the idea here is you don't take the Soaring Dragon thing, so the idea is you're hoping that they don't think you're going to bury Vic of Blood, but what you actually do is you just make sure you draw a tome, and you use that tome to have one of your Void Wretches hit Baby Vic with Glimpse the Void and get buried that way. And then the Scion can run up unburied. It's a little bit different in that they kind of get to see it. You're kind of hoping they don't see it coming. But also you kind of need activations. The whole idea is that you're hopefully burying that Vic after they've moved everything.
Right. So they're not making any decisions seeing it buried.
Right. They're like, and I kind of purposely put the Baby Vic over like to the right side a little bit more. Not like way on the flank, like suspiciously far out, but like a little bit over on that side. So he thought maybe that side's safer, or the other side was safer, which is where the Scion was. So, so the big thing about this is it has a lot of activations. It has 10 activations, so you're hoping that you can do that. He only has 8, but the one thing that was good for him is he drew 2 7+ or 8+ of mass, whatever they are, to be able to summon 2 changelings turn 1 with the
emissary.
With the emissary, and I think he knew what was coming too. So not that you necessarily wouldn't summon 2 things anyway if you had the chance, but I think he knew how important those activations were, and they were a big deal. So I kind of had to show my hand a little bit more, and basically, I guess I should go through his list. So he played Paralyzed Pandora, which is the inferior Pandora most of the time, in my opinion. But it is not bad into Outcast, where they don't have a lot of condition removal. Not bad in anything, but it's definitely good into Vix, I think.
Right.
Summoning one is just different. You'd be trying to kill them, which I think she could easily do. I mean, she kills them before Stone's 2 hits, but it's just different. So, and I know he likes Paralyzed Pandora, and I really like Summon Pandora, so that's just a thing. So, like I said, he kind of had that going. So I basically had to unbury Baby Vic before Pandora went. I took Big Vic, and I kind of hid behind a big piece of terrain in the middle. And then I took Baby Vic, and I put her kind of around the same piece of terrain, but exposed a bit more in cover. But I basically, I was close enough that if he wanted to walk up and shoot me once, it'd be a one-shot in cover type deal that he could try to paralyze me with. He does use Stone to focus, but the biggest reason why I was okay with this is that I had Vic to go after, so if I live the dream and he doesn't paralyze me, things look really good. If he does paralyze me, I'm going to get to clear it at least. So the next turn initiative flip, if I win it, he does have Dobble, so it's in his favor, but if I do win it, I'm going in.
Right.
Even if he wins it, he has to go with Pandora. He has to paralyze her again, and that's pretty much all she's going to get to do. So worst case, we're just trading my half master for his full master.
Yep.
And I also do think going first, trying to go first with Doppel, if you really, really want it, you probably got it. But I mean, you see a lot of people cheat in 10s and 11s. And the one thing about that Vic crew that I do is I run a huge cast, and I'll just blow them all early because Vics are super fun and awesome for Malifaux. But the one thing you do with them is just throw all your resources early, because you can just kill everything before it matters. I don't care if I use all 6 of my soul stones by turn 2, because I can probably kill your whole crew doing it. So I'll stone in almost anything that you cheat in, except probably a 13 for initiative. And if you hit it, if I hit it, you're just probably having a really bad time. And if you cheat in your 13, then you might not have the cards to force through the paralyze.
Yep.
So what ended up happening was he walked up, he had 2 AP. He chose to focus and shoot rather than stone and shoot, which I think makes sense. It's a little riskier, But I mean, yeah, it's certainly feasible. He probably had the card to guarantee it. The baby Vic is only willpower 5, but she does get plus flips to willpower when you have 4 more cards. And I did, and I flipped 2 cards, and the second one was a red Joker.
Oh.
So he did not get the paralyze. So that changed things a lot. The game, it immediately, all the calculations we'd both done on turn 1 were off. Because he planned for that, and now I got to go in. So I went in. I did not go for Pandora. I had the chance to. I instead charged Barbaros, but I did it in a way that I could whirlwind onto Asaro and Pandora. Hitting Pandora is fine, but whatever. It's not the target. She had the effigy buff up, so she was going to push away anyway. I killed the Asaro, which was his frame target. And which is whatever. I'm spotting you frame with picks anyway, so I just want to get it over with early. So it's only 2 and whatever. I didn't hit Pandora, which I didn't really care about, and I knocked Barbaros down to not a lot of hit points. So turn 2, we get into the situation I just talked about, which is he cheats in an 11 to go first, and I'm like, all right, I don't care. I have Mad Stones, I'll use it. So I reflip and I get an 11, and then we reflip again and I win. There was short discussion about whether or not he could cheat again, but we determined you cannot. So I went first, and that's one of those things like certainly in his favor. But like I said, I'm willing to take that risk, and even if he does go first, he has to basically use Pandora's whole activation to deal with that.
Yep.
So I kill Pandora. No, I don't kill Pandora. Sorry, I kill Barbaros, and I kill. Guy's like a changeling over there or something.
Now, have you put damage on Pandora at this point with a whirlwind?
No, I don't think I at any point in this game actually put damage on Pandora.
Gotcha, okay.
If I do, it's inconsequential and I forgot about it.
Okay.
But I kill stuff. I kill Barbaros, I'm getting in there. Later in this turn, most everything else we're just dicking around. He's mostly plying the Vic, who's now in the middle of everything. He does paralyze her back immediately, obviously. At this point, I'm like, whatever. Later, baby Vic, you served your purpose. Have fun. But she's paralyzed. He's plying off of her and scoring points, which is like, he's already up basically 3 points on me right now, which is fine. I think I can catch up. But later in the turn, it becomes apparent that he has set up on her. So he gets the 3 setup markers down, and the one nice thing is because I've killed stuff, I now have some activation control. Mm-hmm. And my last activation, I see him drop his last activation, uses Doppel with Don't Mind Me to drop the last setup marker. I am not. I tried to slow her earlier with the Void Rats, and I just wasn't able to get it through. He used like a 13 to stop it because he knew he really needed this point. So I have Big Vic left, and she is pretty far behind the other one. But I'm in walk, like Oathkeeper, walk, charge of all the stuff around her. And at this point that I'm like, you know what? Baby Vic's going to be paralyzed the rest of this game anyway. I'm already down 3 points. I can't go down 6. So I use Big Vic to kill Little Vic.
Yep.
And the added bonus is I whirlwind off of it, and I killed a changeling. I think I hit the emissary for a decent bit of damage, and I put 6 damage onto Doppelganger. So that was a pretty big deal. It denied all those points. And the other nice thing was next turn, I either win initiative just naturally or his first, or no, I don't win initiative. He wins, obviously. He cheats to go first, and he uses Pandora to paralyze Big Vic. But I'm able to use the Sign of the Void to finish off Doppelganger with her ranged attack that does damage equal to wounds. She had 6 wounds on her, so it was an auto kill. And then from then on, he can't cheat the initiative anymore. It takes me to the last turn to win it, which doesn't really matter at that point, but it's just the fact that I have enough activations now that he can't keep up with me. And basically, I pull it out later in the game. I'm able to get my surround them points. I start getting Ply the last 2 turns, and then I declare my recover evidence, and I get a couple of those picked up with the Sign of the Void. The final score, I won by 2, so I think it was 6-4.
All right.
So I was definitely good that I denied that setup, because I would have lost.
So you're undefeated. Pretty good diff at that point. Who was your round 3?
Round 3 is another North Carolina guy. I think Kyle was his name.
Kyle, yeah.
His last name, you probably know him. So he's playing Sandeep, Arcanist, and this one is flank, symbols of authority, punish the weak, hold up their forces, dig their graves, public demo setup. So again, this is another one I would have loved to play Trayah, but I actually think he might have even just when he got to the table, he said he was playing Sandeep instead of Arcanist. Like he wasn't even bluffing at all. No, so I was like,
That's yeah. Every practice.
Or I heard him say it or something. So I was like, all right, well I know it's Sandeep, and again, I'd really like to play Trayah into this pool, but she could beat Sandeep. It's not as bad as some of those other ones, but the mages are a problem. Sandeep himself is a problem. So whatever. Things are going well at this point. If they were differently, I might be more willing to try something. So I'm like, all right, we'll throw down Misaki again. I know talking with Gurn, when he plays Sandeep, he's terrified of Misaki, so we'll do that. He played pretty standard Sandeep list. Sandeep, 3 mages, Metabot. He took Cassandra, Windgammon, and something else. He took Carlos also. He took Carlos and Cassandra. Both good models for symbols, although Cassandra I think is even better. But so I took basically the same Outcast list, except this time instead of Bishop, I took Montresor for Scramble. Okay. I think I also took 2 A-bombs this time too, instead of 1 A-bomb in the effigy. The idea with the A-bombs, I didn't mention before, the A-bombs have a 1 tactical action. They do 2 damage to a friendly construct within 6 to draw a card. Marlena is randomly a construct. She also has armor, so she only takes 1 damage from that. She also does nothing except sit in the back. They also do nothing except sit in the back, so they just ping Marlena for cards. Her wound count doesn't really matter unless you're expecting that soul tether to trigger twice on Misaki, at which point you probably suck, honestly, if you need 2 soul tethers on Misaki. So yeah, just some card draw. So one thing that I didn't notice on his list is I noticed he took the Visions upgrade, the one that Sandeep summoned and lets him interact more, but I forgot that was the one that rather than making his Gata do actual damage, it makes it paralyzed on moderate and severe, which will come up in a little bit. The idea with Montresor is that he has nimble, so he walks twice first turn, and he does his noose attack thing on Misaki. You cheat in any crow to hit the trigger. Trigger is you have to discard 2 cards to get pulled in base contact. You don't do that, and you just pull Misaki up. Hits her about 8 inches up the board. It's even better in flank when you can kind of put him sideways, and then she goes out the other way, so it's not like he's getting in the way as much.
And it's anywhere in base contact, so you can put her in front.
No, you have to go center to center.
You do? Okay, gotcha.
You have to go center to center.
It's a push.
It's a push, so.
Got it.
But, she takes, weak damage is 1, which honestly almost will never matter because you heal it with risk and reward. Moderate is 4, which does kind of suck. She is randomly bulletproof 1, so it would only be 3. Again, you'll probably heal that with risk and reward, but, it's not a ton of pushes like the very, very cancerous Ten Thunder version of Misaki, which you just activates in your deployment zone with fast turn 1, but it's a nice little boost up the board, a little bit more threat range. So I did that, and I went in and I killed 1 mage, blasted onto a bunch of other mages, and shots turn 1, and all that stuff. And it was going fine. I wasn't I didn't crush anything, but I put some good damage on. I definitely had. He goes in with Sandeep, and that's when I remember that, oh shit, moderate damage paralyzes her, and I don't have any way to kill the conditions. So he does that turn 2, or end of turn 1. So turn 2, Misaki's paralyzed, and his crew, I think, it's pretty safe in general, but Misaki does all the damage. Or at least he has to do all the first damage. The Sign of the Void is really, really good at finishing stuff off, but the Scion's attack doesn't do anything until they have damage on them. So it was not looking good. And most of the damage I did have, he healed up with the Medibot. So turn 2, I was like, oh shit, this is a problem. So turn 2, I kept all of my stones out of the risk and reward pool.
Okay.
All 4 of them that I had, because I need to make sure he doesn't hit moderate damage with Sandeep.
Put him on negatives.
Put him on negatives, and also if you prevent all the damage, which would be moderate is only 2, you don't take it. So I was trying to do the math the whole time. I still never figured it out. But I have if he has 4 stones and 3 attacks, I want to save 1 stone for initiative next turn. I have some high cards. I think I have 113, like some other 10s and stuff. What's the best way to use the stones? Do I put them on negatives or do I try to prevent? I never did the math and figured it out. What ended up happening was I think he kind of made a bit of a mistake. So specifically, he took setup on Sandeep, on Misaki. So he was really concerned about doing that. So he used Sandeep to drop markers for that, and then wasn't able to get the paralyzed back on. Whereas I think he should have just kept her paralyzed, take another turn to do the setup, because I'm not going to be able to get away if I'm paralyzed. And it's not like you're setting up something that's like easy to kill. Like even if I wanted to kill my Misaki, 1, I don't have a way to do it. Like I just literally don't have the damage even relenting, and 2, I can't. My crew's gone if I kill her to do that. So I think he should have done that. So, but he didn't. And then I win the next initiative flip, and Misaki uses Oathkeeper, throws all 4 attacks in Sandeep, and because he's not impossible to win anymore, I killed her. I killed him barely. I used every stone I had and every card in my hand to do exactly enough wounds to kill him. He was out of stone, so I knew that 3 severes would do it, and I had 4 attacks. So. It was really, like I said, I used every card, all 6, but I also blasted onto pretty much everything else over on his crew that was there, which was basically I didn't kill Carlos because I had set up on him, and I didn't kill Cassandra and the Windgammon who were running around on the other complete side of the board, but everything else died to the blast, including the Banasuba that he had summoned. So that was really it.
So how did it finish?
Well, I don't want to actually say that was really it, because the game finished 8-7. It was really tight in the end. Like I said, I did my setup that turn on Carlos for 2, and I was able to disengage. The next turn, Tresor was able to disengage from Carlos, who kept tying me up, so that I could get away and pick up a symbol.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I would have had 2 chances that turn to do it, and 2 chances next turn to be able to get it, but I was able to get it that turn, so that was able to get that other symbol point. So yeah.
Good.
So
good,
that was
good day 1.
Yeah, it's about the best you can ask for. Yeah.
So we go into day 2, round 4. You know who you're not playing.
Yes, I eventually figured out who I am not playing, who I thought I was playing.
Who did you end up playing?
I ended up playing Joe Thornblood, who plays Guild. He is playing the Lucius Rifleman Gunline list. So it's Lucius, Captain Dassel, Master Queeg, Brutal Emissary, 3 Guild Riflemen, and the Scribe. I had played Joe before and seen him at a couple local tournaments. I know that this is pretty much the list he plays. It's one of those lists that I think wins the first time you play against it, but probably shouldn't ever win after that, because you just, once you know what it does and you don't run into it, I mean, it is literally the dwarfs of Malifaux. It just shoots. So, my thoughts on that is like, okay, this is the Misaki dream again. Trayah is pretty good into shooting usually, but the board was really open, and honestly, a lot of those riflemen do probably get to min 3 a lot with their shots, or at least can easily hit 3. So you're looking at, they can kill the Void Wretches in 2 shots, which is not something you want. And I didn't trust it, and I was, at this point again, I'm like, I think Misaki is a slam dunk here. So the pool was standard R's, Guarded Treasure, Show of Force, Search the Ruins, Inescapable Trap, and Hold Up Their Forces. So my plan is basically I'm going to sub Misaki, I'm going to pin you in your deployment zone, or your side of the board at least. I'm going to score R's every time with just like my A-bomb sitting on my side, because you're never going to get over the center line. I'll probably just sit Tresor in the center to score Show of Force, because he's going to run up and pull Misaki up anyway, so she can get in turn 1. This is a game that I really want to get in turn 1. And that's how I figured it would go, and that's how it was going at first. So basically, I do all that. Misaki gets pulled up with Montresor, and she has basically the dream, which is turn 1, she can use Oathkeeper, and she can charge without walking. So she just charges something, and then because she has diving charge, I'm going to charge. So I'm going to charge twice, first turn. I charge into a Guild Rifleman who's standing right next to another Guild Rifleman in the Scribe. At this point, so I have Rush of Magic with Shang, so I get 7 cards there. I stone for cards to get to 9. I drew 2 cards with 2 A-bombs, so I've seen 11 cards. I don't have a face card at this point, but I have 3 10s, and I'm like, you know what? This is probably this. I mean, like I'm a 7. The Riflemen are naturally 4, but they're near the Scribe, so they're 3. So, and I'm like, I don't really need severe damage. Moderates are fine. Because what I want to do is I want to charge the one Rifleman, hit him. Well, hopefully just kill it.
Right.
But if not, I'll blast off it twice, hit the other one. Then I'll charge something else, and I'll put the blast back on the other Rifleman. Or another way to do it, which would have been good, is charge. Hopefully hit both times, put the blast on the Rifleman on the Scribe for 1, put another blast somewhere else, and the other thing that I'm going to charge, which is probably Master Queeg, go charge Master Queeg, blast back onto the other ones. But anyway, I missed with 2 of my 4 attacks. He flipped a 13 on 1 and either cheated a Red Joker or 13 on the other. I had to cheat first, a lot of those, so he was able to do that. That's one of those ones where it's a really big deal cheating first, because I don't think that cheating a 13 into me when I have 7 or 8 cards in my hand is probably a good idea.
Yep.
But when you cheat second, it's a great idea.
Yep.
So I missed a lot and didn't do enough damage. Misaki also took a ton of damage in doing this. Montresor lived not the dream, which was hitting the moderate on Misaki, so he did 3 to pull her up. The Riflemen have their little stand and shoot thing where they can lower their focus when something charges. So 2 of them did that turn, she charged in, so that was 4 more damage.
Yep.
And then Queeg just lived the dream on me. He hit me for a moderate. He reactivated one of the Riflemen to try to get more shots because he had used Queeg to push me out. I had to blow the Oathkeeper on the Scion to go kill the Rifleman who I originally charged and didn't die, to make sure that that Rifleman didn't get another full whole round of shooting into Misaki. And basically, he blew the Soul Tether on Misaki turn 1, but it was a full Soul Tether, so she healed back up to 8. At the end of the turn, she risk and rewarded up to 12, so she's sitting on full wounds, and I'm in the middle of this crew, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it sucks Marlena died, but I'm on full wounds in the middle of this crew.
Yeah.
I keep 1 stone out next turn so that I can stone for initiative. I don't need to. I win it naturally, so instead I just use that stone for a plus flip on the first attack. It gets you down having no stones, so you get the built-in crows you need, and it gets you a plus flip for whatever. So I charge Queeg, who had already had some blast damage on him. At this point, I have 2 12s, a 13, and some 10s.
Nice.
I don't kill Queeg with 3 attacks, which was not good. Things kept going downhill.
What schemes did you end up taking?
So I took Search the Ruins, thinking I'll just kill everything and drop ski markers, and I took Show of Force, thinking I'll just sit Montresor in the middle, or the Scion in the middle. My original plan was the Scion, who only has Oathkeeper, but I'll just be safe with it, because I didn't think I was going to need the Scion in there as much. But like I said, I ended up using that turn 1, because I'm like, I'm behind, I need to start doing this. So I used it. Queeg strikes back. He hits me twice for 3 each time. And then the Brutal Emissary hits me, and Misaki goes down, that's the first time she's ever died. I did not expect to go down to Master Queeg and the Brutal Emissary on full wounds, but it happened, yeah. Yep. I also charged Montresor in to try to help, because I'm like, it's close. There's he does finish off a Rifleman that would have been able to shoot Misaki, so that helped. But unfortunately, in doing so, I have to go over the Soul of Force side, so I'm not going Soul of Force now. And yes, at this point it gets really grindy because it's like, you know, we each have like a couple models and we're just grinding it out. Some other stuff doesn't go super well. I charge Yamaziko in. She helps a little bit. She eventually finishes off Queeg, who Queeg had Queeg lived through hell and just didn't die. She eventually finishes him off, but then he goes first next turn, and Buddha Emissary kills her in one shot.
Wow.
He hit Moderates both times, which sucks because that's what he needed to do to kill her, but she is defense 4, so the hits are easy, it's just the Moderates. So basically, at the end of the game, it's pretty much come down into who can get Search the Ruins, and he had a marker that he put down earlier for Inescapable Trap that at this point is kind of getting in the way of his Search the Ruins. And it basically came down to Scion of the Void, who is an amazing model, was able to help me get my Search the Ruins down. Between the Blink to jump around, jumping to the 2 A-bombs, which is the only thing I have left at this point, and also Shang. At this point, Shang is actually just a little taxi to carry around the Scion of the Void, so I can Blink to him. And between, like, he charged Lucius at the Scion once, which helped me basically redeploy to the other side and go get the markers over there. I'm able to get Search, and he's not. So we end up tying, though. I did not.
And he obviously didn't have legalese on Lucius.
He did not have legalese, no.
Yep.
That would have made me cry. I would have actually cried if that happened.
So you tie.
Mm-hmm.
So now going into round 4, top table.
Round 5, top table.
Round 5, top table.
Yeah, I played some scrub and blew him off in 2 minutes.
That's you and me, Travis. Round 5. At this point, I'm living the Rocky dream.
Yeah, I'm that Russian guy.
You're Apollo Creed in Rocky 1. But now, is this, out of curiosity, though, historically, though, how many, is this your first top table at a GT, or you've done that before?
I'm trying to think about round 5. Are we talking Malifaux only here?
Malifaux only.
I played Alex once at a random tournament in North Carolina, the first Brawler Bass that they did Malifaux for, which I would have won if I beat him. I always happen to play like Alex or whoever round 4 usually my big one. I'm trying to think. Captain Con this year I was on table 2. I could have gotten up. I would have beaten them if they tied, but they didn't. What other big events? So the Nova last year I was table 1 round 4 versus Jacob, but I lost.
Round 5 this was a big deal.
Yeah, I know. It was another round I wanted to play Terra, but I had seen you play Riva twice earlier, and I was like, well, that's just an awful time because you literally killed those things in one hit with a Corch Marker, so that feels really bad. So, I was like, whatever, I lived the Misaki dream to get here so far, so we'll do it again. Yep. I took Bishop this game instead of Montresor because it was corner deploy, and that extra Montresor push isn't probably going to matter in corner. I'll just triple walk Misaki to the center of the board, turn 1, and then turn 2 soul fight stuff, which is fine. It was corner, public execution, eliminate, show of force, search the ruins, vendetta, covert breakthrough. So I'm playing you, obviously. You played Seamus, Anna Lovelace, Yin, Cassandra, who is really good, especially in Seamus. Uda Bell, Adoxy, Carrie and Effigy for some reason I'll never understand. And what else did you have? You had one other thing. Copycat Killer?
Yeah. Copycat
Killer and something else.
Yep.
I think. So you had 2 things. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I did. This is my first time facing Misaki, so understood the concept of Misaki, but had never played her before. And it was in corner, so I was under the mistaken belief that Anna Lovelace would matter, which she didn't. So.
Yeah, I mean, she's a fine model, but she's nothing special in a Misaki. I mean, the armor's okay. Like, she's one of the tankier things against Misaki. Not great, but she's something. Yin and Cassandra are both very good, though. I'll tell you that, because the way risk and reward works, you don't have stones to throw into plus flips, and you don't have any naturally. So.
Yeah, but it's not so good because of the blasting. So.
Right. Yeah, my only plan is to blast them. I have to blast them.
Yep.
So what basically happened is, I ran Misaki up. I was a little bit scared. You did make me think you had a red Joker for Seamus turn 1. But like I said, I did remember, I'm like, oh yeah, Misaki's Bulletproof 1, so your red Joker doesn't kill me. Which is a big deal whether you pop a Soul Tether or not, whether I'm running around with that still on and I know I'm safe, or I'm sitting at 1 wound, but I have Soul Tether on still.
Yeah.
So that was nice, and I put Misaki up. Turn 2, keep 1 stone out for the initiative flip. Don't think I just won it naturally. I can't remember, but I win it without the stone. I charge Anna, and I blast onto Yin and Shutch. I blast Yin all the way down. I somewhat suspiciously leave Cassandra alive on 2 wounds. And I put everything into killing Anna just because I can. I'm not super worried about her, but my 4th attack, I had the chance to cheat in the damage to kill her, so I did.
Yep.
And yeah, like I think you blew all your stones on that too, right?
Yeah. I tried to keep her alive, but
I do think one thing in a Misaki that is good is a lot of stones.
Yep.
Her spread is not huge. Like an armor 1 henchman can live for a long time if you have the stones, but you only had you had 3 total, and I think you only had 2 at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just not enough. So, like I mentioned, I slightly suspiciously kept Cassandra alive because the Sign of the Void had Vendetta on her. I did get to live the dream of revealing Vendetta and scoring it at the same time, which always feels really good.
That was turn 1 or 2?
That was 2.
Turn 2. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't find any. Yeah, we didn't find anything turn 1.
Yep.
Like I said, not the Ten Thunders Misaki that's going to push 35 inches before you activate. Which there's kind of the criticism a lot of people had on Outcast Misaki, and my whole thought on that, and the reason why I think Outcast is better is, well, you do that with Ten Thunders, then you probably die turn 3 with Misaki. You're like, or you just kill everything and win, which is fine. You can do that either way. Killing everything with Misaki, you'll win either way. But she'll often die by turn 2 or 3, so she's getting, we'll say, 3 activations. The Outcast one, yes, you might not charge turn 1, but she'll charge turn 2, and because of Marlena, she'll probably live the whole game. I've only ever lost her once, and that was game 4. And that was just runner, bad times. So she'll get 4 activations of killing stuff.
That is so good.
Yeah, so she'll just get 4 activations of killing stuff, which is more than the Ten Thunder one probably gets. So
I agree. So yeah, it went downhill real fast. Nothing really happened other than just stuff kept on dying. So I think we called it turn 4, played it out as much as we could. I scored denied ply once was all that happened, so it ended up being 9 zip. And you take
public,
it.
yeah.
Yep, you got the win. And then you had the Vendetta, of course, on Cassandra, and then Covert was easy enough to get because I didn't have any models left. So that was good. So you were the big winner. Now, is this your first win of a GT in Malifaux?
It is my first 2-day event win of anything, actually. I've been second a lot. Yeah. I've quite a few Warhammer tournaments where I finished with the most battle points but didn't win. That was always my favorite. Thanks paint scores. But there are no paint scores in Malifaux, at least not for overall, so I was safe from somebody jumping me this time.
No, it was good, man. Congratulations. That's a big deal and a great way to start the season. So, how's your medal looking as far as Capital City? Do you think it's going to be pretty competitive for the top spots for the conference?
I mean, I can't think of a conference that's even close to as competitive as ours.
Yeah, I agree. It's incredibly competitive. What do you think, like top 5 or 6 people contending for qualifying for Masters?
Me, Alex, Keith, Jacob if he's playing. Jake's in there. Casey's in there.
Yep.
Roger's in there. Try Roger because I didn't see him this weekend. Who else am I missing? Probably missing someone, and now I'm going to look like a douche for not saying it. But there's a lot of people in there. I mean, we have a lot of tournaments that. I'm trying to think who else was in the bracket. Yeah. Oh, Gurn. Yeah, Gurn.
Oh, Gurn, of course.
Yeah, the person who finished second at Nova. Yeah.
And of course, the other big key is going to be not only obviously performing well, but you guys got to make sure you get your tournaments in, right? Because that's going to determine how deep into the conference you get points. So
remind me again on how it works for out of conference tournaments.
So what will happen is for out of conference, anytime you play out of conference, it's not going to count towards your qualifying within the conference. So it's not going to improve your standings within your conference. We use me as an example playing at Nova.
Okay.
My results at Nova do nothing for me within the Carolina Conference. But let's say I didn't qualify at the end of the year for the Carolina Conference. I could potentially qualify on the national wild card. Because I played in such a large tournament, was in the upper half of the group, so I got a decent amount of points for Nova. That could potentially put me into one of the wild card spots.
Okay, yeah, I remember now.
So that's good. Well, the only other thing I'd like you to do a quick plug for is your big tournament in the spring.
Yeah, Capital City Meltdown. It's a 2-day Malifaux tournament. It's in Laurel, Maryland. Sometime in the summer. Last year it was in May. Year before that was June. It'll probably be June or May this year. I have not looked that far ahead to book a date, but it'll be one of those two. We had 44 people last year, I think, so it's a pretty big event. We sold out twice, actually. I had to add more slots, so hoping that third edition will be out by then. I will say right now, on record, I don't care if third edition drops the day before. We're using it. As long as the rules are online, or actually, I don't care. We're using it regardless.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Travis. Again, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
All right. That was a great interview, and it was great to hear from Travis. Don't forget to subscribe and check out his Max Value podcast. And I can tell you right now, I've played in 2 of his Capital City Meltdown tournaments, and they are by far my favorite event of the year. So keep your eyes open for that in the summer. In the meantime, make sure that you guys are playing in as many tournaments as you can so you can qualify for Masters. We plan on having that sometime in July and August of 2019. We'll be announcing the exact dates and locations probably at the beginning of 2019, so right in January or so. Thanks again. Take care.